Hello, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, August 28th, 2023. In this video, I want to explore a post that Mr. T put on his social media site over the weekend and ask a question of the tarot cards to see if we can get to a bit of an understanding of what was said and implied. Let me go to a screenshot of that particular posting, and then we'll see what the universe wants us to know. 1 second. Okay, he said, remember all of the fake news reporting that was done saying that crooked Joe Biden was fully cooperating with the Robert Hur, the special counsel, concerning the thousands of boxes of documents that Joe took out of the White House. Well, that turned out to be a big lie. They can't even set up a meeting. Biden is being impossible, but I'm not. I even gave them openly and freely security tapes, and I come under the Presidential Records Act. Joe doesn't. It's all about election interference. Okay, now notice there are numerous words that shouldn't be capitalized here that are. He starts off with a question and then doesn't put a question mark on it. So I was wondering something, and it involves the use of the word doesn't. I don't automatically think that that's a comment. I didn't, but I want to check in. I'll explain why. Hang on, let me stop the share here. Okay, we know that the records that 46 took were during when he wasn't covered under the Presidential Records Act because he was VP. And there's been no kerfuffle really about that, has there? Way to go, rhinos. Thank you for keeping on that for us. Wow. Okay, they're good at, pretend outrage, but they don't actually do anything for us. Both parties are a uniparty. Okay, that's Laura's view. You can see why I'm now an independent and I am not a party person. Okay, so the capital on doesn't in its present tense. I thought, well, the records he's referring to happened during 46's vice presidential stints. But he's using present tense for doesn't. So I thought there could be a case made that referring to those records, since they're from that time, that he doesn't have coverage then. But let's ask the universe if Mr. T is implying that he also doesn't have that protection now. Okay, so we want to frame this question intelligently, and we want to make sure we get to genuine information, nothing that's been veiled or obscured. So we're going to be asking the universe if the person seen in the public eye as 46, if Mr. T was implying, or let's not even put Mr. T into it. Okay, the person seen in the public eye is 46. There is chatter that he doesn't have protection under the Presidential Records Act, even now. We'd like to know if that chatter is accurate and if there are other insights or information the universe wants us to know. I'm going to move the cat, change the camera, and we'll see what the universe wants us to know. By the way, if you're a newer viewer, I want to address something, okay? I never stop the camera when I'm shuffling the cards, ever. And I always divide them into 3 piles and then make sure that the pile I pick up was in the middle to make it as obvious as possible that I am letting pure chance or the universe decide what cards we get. Now, if that's not enough transparency for you, then you're not either willing or ready to look at tarot information with a skeptical but open mind. And you may not want to view this content. There's so much time to dig for truth and other avenues. I will understand if you don't. But again, notice how I do it. The camera never stops. I cut the pile into 3s, and I always make sure I pick up the middle pile, so I have no idea I'm not going from where I possibly knew what the top card was or possibly knew what the bottom card was. So watch and see, because I am as transparent as I can be, that I am not interfering with the natural selection of the cards. Okay, let's see what the universe wants us to know though about this question about 46, Presidential Records Act, and coverage. 1 second. Okay, the person seen in the public eye as our 46 chief executive of the United States Corporation, our resident. Alt media chatter maintains that he is not, even to this day, covered by the Presidential Records Act. We'd like to know if there's accuracy in that assertion and other insights and information the universe wants us to know. We seek access to this information free from any veiling or obscuring efforts that have been done in some form or fashion on the information. So we'd like the information as clear as it would have been before any obscuring or veiling of the data took place. Our first card is the Four of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, the Emperor, Nine of Cups, the Hermit, the Star, and the Six of Cups. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is what I usually do. I will tell you the insights I'm getting from the cards, what's making me chuckle. And then I'll explain some of the elements of the cards that actually lead me to say that. Okay, well, our question was, is there truth to the speculation, that the assertion that 46 does not will not be covered by the Presidential Records Act even now? And well, what we're getting is a mix here. Okay, but not a mix that makes me say no. It just depends on how this plays out. It could go either way. As long as the fiction is maintained, the 46 legally holds his position, the fiction will also remain that he is covered by the Presidential Records Act now that he has been supposedly inaugurated. That's all going to be changing. Now, look, we had three very important as far as white heart, and that's how I term the white hats, white heart cards that showed up today with this question. The Four of Wands is a card of connection and love and truth. The Queen of Pentacles is wisdom and sovereignty. And so I'm getting that we have a good question, number one. Number two, that we're on the right track. And number three, again, it just kind of depends on how it rolls out. As far as once the fiction dissolves about the resident's official position, so will it then be obvious that anything that's happened since that person supposedly took office, but also any protections that seem to have been bestowed because of the executive branch of government. So that's as clear as I can be on that. So we have a fiction that's going to be maintained for a time. However, the Emperor is my top white hat card that indicates Mr. T. So in the recent past, Mr. T, yes, has had that coverage. Okay, absolutely. When we look at the present here, we've got the Nine of Cups, which is one of kind of a card of kind of satisfaction. I always call it my 90%, satisfaction card, which, in life, if you get 90%, you're doing really, really good. So yeah, there's no worry on the part of the white hats that there's going to be protections in the moving forward once the fictions have been dissolved about 46. Now I say that because, first of all, the insight card here, we've got that for the near future, we have the Hermit, which is always a nod to wisdom. And then some just divine, even off-world future self type of help with bringing some course corrections, not just to my country and not just to humanity, but to the entire world, including our planet. And the star is the 17th major arcana. The star frequently typifies the essence of the alliance, the White Hearts. Absolutely. And on the other side of it is a card of reconciliation. So in the future, when we reconcile fact and fiction and do away with things, we're going to be at a place that's beautiful, number one. Number two, we're going to be at a place where there's a reconciling of the sleepers with the normies, of a restoration and a cherishing and love for innocent life. Let's get a couple more cards and see if there's a little more clarity to be had about the question or the situation, because it is, you know, we've been going on for over 30 months. We're in our 31st month of this, and it's been a long haul. Okay. We have the 8 of Cups showing up. 4 Cups, lots of cups. Those are emotion cards. People's emotions are invested in this situation. Okay. Patriots are fighting off some weariness. And I think we have the resilience to push through and to just hold the line. But I don't think anybody anticipated having to hold the line for this long. And we are having to. Now, there's some advice involved with these cards here. With the 8 of Cups, that's a talk sometimes about a time apart, taking a little time. So if you need time, move back from the front line and enjoy your life and work on self-care. In the meantime, as we get facts and information up here and coded information becomes available to us by our wonderful decoders in the alt media community and the truther community, just know that there is some evidence and information that we don't want to overlook. It may be as simple as that capital D on doesn't and using present tense. And it may be even more blatant and in our face than that. So if you don't need that time apart, if you don't need to kind of get a restorative little break for yourself, which please do that rather than getting discouraged. In the meantime, don't overlook some information that may be pretty obvious. We have the Sun card showing up for near future. How beautiful. And Judgment. I love it. Look at all these major arcanas. The universe really has an eye on the situation that's happening and slowly unfolding in the United States. The Sun card is a joyous card of success and life and love, and indicates sometimes some new life bursting forth on the scene, some new, and in this case, once we get that restoration to not just my country, but to our world, the restoration may be even more. It may involve, you know, our essential abilities and selves too. And just a reminder that there is going to be judgment for those, either way, those who have served the light and those that have served the dark. Ultimately, we have to answer for our choices and our actions. And you can skate by sometimes and evade it in the political realm and the earthly realm, but ultimately, we are responsible for those, and they build our character and they lay the path for our future. So it's important to choose wisely and do the right thing even when no one's watching. Well, before I recap, you might have noticed a cat wandering through the video screen. Number one, this is a home production. This is where I live, very small footprint place in northern Maine. And I am owned by 2 cats. There's Alieska. She's the one that frequently gets on camera. Less often is my older cat, Chloe, who sleeps a lot, loves her mama, but isn't worried about getting fan mail and being a star. So, but Allie is frequently part of the production. So I hope you give me a little grace on that. Again, I'm not gonna lock them up in a bedroom just so I can make a video that doesn't have a cat wandering through. We're gonna keep it real, including my extemporaneous comments, because I work without a script here. And I know I have some habits verbally that I hope don't put you off too much. I am trying to work on not saying okay as often. And I don't do it to belittle the abilities of other people to take in the information I'm talking about. It's more, I'm pausing to gather my thoughts, and I have to just do it quietly. And I tend to say, okay. Now let's do the recap. Let's recap this read. We were asking if there was any truth to the alt media chatter and kind of widespread belief that 46 is not protected by the Presidential Records Act. Now, we didn't get any hard yeses on that. Well, we got our information was it was interesting. We got, our question was indicated by the Four of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. This is often talking about love. It's a really positive card. There's just no way to read this one badly. So we're asking a good question and seeking information in the right way. And the Queen of Pentacles is a card of wisdom and sovereignty, and just a nod that it was a good question that we were asking. The recent past, we have my Mr. T card. The Emperor showed up. He did have that protection. Absolutely. Now, we got what we got overall was that with the Nine of Cups, which is our 90% satisfaction right now, that was kind of one of the cards that kind of led me to say what we've got is a mix here going on. Right now, while the fiction is maintained that 46 is legitimately serving in the capacity, the executive office, I have to be real careful what words I use so that the video isn't flagged. Okay, while the fiction's maintained, the fiction will also be maintained that he's protected by any presidential rights and privileges that would be bestowed on someone in that office. When that falls apart, so will that narrative. Absolutely. The near future cards got interesting. We had the Hermit show up. He typifies the White Hearts, the Alliance, and even the fact that we're divinely. And if your lens only goes as far as believing that there is a loving creator, this card indicates that. If your lens also includes that there are off-world, possibly with Tesla technology and time travel, future selves aiding in the efforts to restore the path of humanity and do some course corrections for countries as well as the world and humanity, this card indicates that. But you take it as far as your personal lens is comfortable with. I'm never going to, I will honestly share my opinions, and I know that they're not everyone's, and I never insist that you believe them. I just share them. You can mull it over and decide if it resonates with you. If it feels like it's truth, keep going with it. Take it as far as you need to. But right now, this was for the near future, just saying that, again, the white hats, whom I prefer to call white hearts, so there's no worry about what type of hat it is. The white hearts and our benevolent and divine help is kind of overseeing this situation. The Star showed up as our strongest insight card. It's the 17th major arcana. It definitely is the card of the organization that starts with the 17th letter of the alphabet. And again, a card of love, new beginnings, and faith, and just openness and transparency, which hopefully we'll openly be able to have that in the very near future. When it does, we're going to be reconciling with those that weren't ready for the information, but get that jolt awake. We're going to be reconciling our world with the path it should have been on. There's a lot of really beautiful things coming out in our near future that we can enjoy. The additional insights cards, and I get them kind of 2 by 2. Sometimes I get others. This was just, again, we were asking for insights and information, and that also includes sometimes some advice. If you need a little time apart to take it, okay, don't get discouraged. Like I said, we're in our 31st month of this residency, and it's been a longer haul than any of us really anticipated. The Four of Cups reminds us that if you're still on it, if you're still watching events, don't overlook things. From these little things like the communications that get decoded for us, sometimes even more obvious than that. So keep your peripheral vision going, not just for your personal safety as you go here and there, but also for political events and world events and keeping up with things. The final 2 cards were both major arcanas, the Sun and Judgment card. The Judgment card really doesn't need a lot of explanation. It is just a reminder that none of us move forward without facing some judgment for our actions, past and present. And there's accountability at some point, even if it doesn't happen in the earthly realm as fast as we want. And just a reminder, to live as if you're in the light, be in the light. Okay, live as if we're already have the world around us as much as possible that we would prefer to have. And a reminder that, doing the right thing even when no one's watching is just a good way to live your life. Absolutely, because we think no one's watching, but those Akashic records record everything. So be proud of the records you make. Okay. I often say that, and I make no secret about it, I've screwed up in my life so many times and in so many ways. It's not funny. It's not funny. My goal now, I can't change the past. Okay. I've done in some cases what I can to make amends, to grow, to move on, to assimilate some of those life lessons moving forward. But I often say that my real goal now, because I'm in my 60s, is to meet my loving creator eventually and hear well finished. I know I'm not going to hear well done because of the screw ups I'm referring to, but I definitely can, and so can you. We can strive to hear well finished. So let's do it, okay? Let's finish well with our head up and our hearts full of love and our spirits full of light. Until next time, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time, and I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright.